Here are 25 strangest animals you won't believe exist. Some of these creatures look like they belong in science fiction movies, while others seem straight out of a fantasy novel. But guess what? They're all 100% real. From animals with extra long noses to even ones that glow, we're taking you on a journey to meet the 25 strangest animals that still exist today. Before we continue, like this video and subscribe for a prosperous life. Our first guest is the IIai, and it's one of the strangest looking primates on Earth. Hailing from Madagascar, this nocturnal lemur has the eyes of an owl, the ears of a bat, and a freakishly long middle finger that it uses to tap on tree bark, listening for insects inside. Once it finds its snack, that same creepy finger comes in handy to fish the bugs out. So, picture this. You're a tree-dwelling bug, just hanging out, and suddenly a giant skeletal finger pokes in to snatch you up. Nature's weird, right? Fun fact, in local Malagasy folklore, the IIai is considered a bad omen, but in reality, it's just a master insect hunter. Next up is the Axolotl, the Peter Pan of the animal world. It never grows up. Instead of going through metamorphosis like other salamanders, it stays in its juvenile form, living its entire life underwater. This amphibian also has the superpower to regrow almost any part of its body, including its limbs, spinal cord, and even parts of its heart and brain. Scientists are fascinated by the axolotl because they hope its regenerative abilities might hold the secret to unlocking similar healing powers in humans. The axolotl's adorable face, with its permanent smile and fluffy gills, makes it one of the cutest weird creatures out there. The SAA Antelope is nature's vacuum cleaner. This bizarre-looking antelope has a huge floppy nose that not only looks funny, but serves an important purpose. It acts like a filter, helping the SAA clean dusty air in the summer and warming up cold air in the winter. But there's a sad note to this unique animal's story. It's critically endangered, with their population having taken a severe hit from disease and poaching. Conservationists are racing against time to save these amazing creatures and their bizarre noses from extinction. Meet the Shoebill Stork, a bird that looks like it's straight out of the Jurassic era. With its massive shoe-shaped beak, this bird is an expert hunter. Standing about 5 feet tall, the shoebill's eerie stillness is what makes it a top predator in African swamps. It waits motionless for hours, and when its prey, a fish or even a baby crocodile, comes too close, the shoebill strikes with lightning speed, snapping it up in its mighty beak. Fun fact, the shoebill's stare is so intense that it can make you feel like you've done something wrong. The blobfish is often voted the world's ugliest animal, and once you see it, you'll understand why. Living deep in the ocean, it has a jelly-like body that helps it withstand extreme pressure. When it's underwater, the blobfish looks relatively normal, but bring it up to the surface, and that pressure is gone, so the blobfish turns into a melted, blobby mess. Poor thing, it's just a victim of circumstance. It's kind of like when you take a souffle out of the oven too soon. The blobfish doesn't move much, it basically just floats around, waiting for food to bump into it. Now, let's meet the Narwhal, also known as the unicorn of the sea. This mysterious whale has a long spiral tusk that can grow up to 10 feet. But what's even cooler, the tusk is actually a tooth packed with nerve endings, allowing the narwhal to sense changes in its environment, like the salinity or temperature of the water. Scientists are still figuring out all the ways narwhals use these amazing tusks, but one thing's for sure, they're as majestic as they are mysterious. Looking like it just stuck its face in a power socket, the star-nosed mole is one of nature's weirdest looking mammals. Its nose is covered in 22 tiny, fleshy appendages that help it detect food in the blink of an eye. Literally. This mole can identify and eat prey in just 8 milliseconds, making it the fastest eating mammal on the planet. These tentacles are also super sensitive, allowing the star-nosed mole to navigate its dark underground world. Think of its nose as a highly specialized sensory tool. It's weird, but it works. The Tarsier is a tiny primate with enormous eyes. Each one is bigger than its brain. If you had eyes that big proportionally, they'd be the size of grapefruits. Tarsiers are nocturnal, using their huge eyes to spot prey in the dark. And they're also incredible jumpers, leaping from tree to tree like tiny ninjas. But their eyes don't move in their sockets, so instead they can rotate their heads almost 180 degrees like an owl. Named after the Disney character, the Dumbo Octopus has ear-like fins that make it look like it's always ready to take flight. This little octopus lives way down in the deep ocean, in some of the most extreme environments on Earth. The Dumbo Octopus uses its fins to swim gracefully through the water, flapping like a tiny underwater elephant. It's rarely seen, but when it is, it's a reminder that even in the darkest depths of the ocean, there's room for adorable. The Yeti Crab is a deep-sea oddity that looks like it's wearing a fur coat. Its long, hairy arms are actually covered in bristles that help it farm bacteria. Yes, you heard that right! This crab grows its own food on its arms. Living near hydrothermal vents, where the environment is harsh and toxic, the Yeti Crab has found a unique way to survive by cultivating bacteria to snack on. Talk about farming on the go! The Leafy Sea Dragon is a master of disguise. It looks exactly like a piece of seaweed, with leafy appendages that make it nearly impossible for predators to spot. These slow-moving fish drift through the water, perfectly camouflaged in their seaweed homes. They may not be the fastest swimmers, but they don't need to be. They're invisible. The Leafy Sea Dragon is also closely related to seahorses, but it's definitely the more stylish cousin with all those leafy bits. The pink fairy armadillo is the tiniest and arguably the cutest of all armadillo species. It's about the size of a guinea pig and has a flexible pink shell that makes it look like it's wearing a tiny armor vest. This little guy is a champion digger, burrowing into the ground faster than you can blink. The pink fairy armadillo spends most of its time underground, hiding from predators and searching for insects to eat. Think of it as the ultimate pink ninja of the animal world. The pangolin looks like a walking pine cone or maybe an armored dinosaur from a distant past. Covered in tough, overlapping scales, the pangolin has one defense strategy: curl up into a ball. When threatened, it tucks its head under its body, and its sharp scales protect it from predators. But there's a tragic side to the pangolin story. It's the most trafficked animal in the world, hunted for its scales, which are unfortunately used in traditional medicine. Conservationists are working hard to protect these fascinating creatures before they're gone for good. If the Japanese spider crab doesn't freak you out a little, nothing will. With legs that can stretch up to 12 feet, this is the largest arthropod on the planet. Imagine a giant underwater daddy long legs slowly creeping across the ocean floor with its spindly legs. Despite its terrifying appearance, the spider crab is a scavenger, meaning it's more interested in eating dead things than chasing after prey. But still, you wouldn't want one of these enormous crabs showing up in your backyard. Discovered only in 2009, the Venezuelan poodle moth is one of the strangest insects we've ever seen. It looks like a cross between a fluffy poodle and a delicate moth, with fuzzy white wings and a body covered in what looks like fur. Scientists don't know much about this moth yet, but it certainly caught everyone's attention with its strange, almost cuddly appearance. Who knew moths could be so fluffy? The olm is a cave-dwelling salamander that has spent so much time in the dark that it no longer needs eyes. These creatures live their entire lives in underground rivers and lakes, in complete darkness, and can go years without eating. Olms are also incredibly long-lived. They can live for over 100 years. Their pale, almost ghostly appearance and their ability to thrive in such extreme conditions make them one of the most mysterious amphibians on Earth. The tufted deer looks like a deer that's trying out a goth phase. It has a tuft of dark hair on its forehead that gives it a bit of a punk rock vibe. But the weirdest thing about the tufted deer? Its small fang-like tusks. That's right, this deer has tiny fangs that make it look like a vampire. Don't worry though, those fangs are more for show than anything else. They're used to impress other deer or for self-defense. But still, a deer with fangs, that's one for the record books. The Gerenuk is sometimes called the giraffe gazelle, and once you see its long neck, you'll know why. This antelope uses its long neck to reach high branches that other animals can't, making it an expert at getting to the tastiest leaves. And get this, the Gerenuk can stand on its hind legs like a ballerina, stretching up to grab food that's just out of reach. It's like the Cirque du Soleil of the animal kingdom, showing off some serious balancing skills. The fossa is Madagascar's top predator, and it's basically the island's version of a lion. But it doesn't look like a lion, it's more like a mix between a cat, a weasel, and maybe a mongoose. Fossas are expert tree climbers, using their long tails for balance as they chase lemurs through the forest canopy. In fact, lemurs make up the majority of their diet. Think of the fossa as Madagascar's sneaky, athletic tree-hopping hunter. This massive amphibian, the Chinese giant salamander, can grow up to 6 feet long. It's the largest amphibian on Earth and has been around for millions of years, making it a living fossil. Despite its size, the giant salamander is a master of stealth, spending most of its time hiding in rivers and streams, waiting for prey to come near. Sadly, this ancient creature is critically endangered due to habitat loss and hunting for its meat, which is considered a delicacy in some places. The proboscis monkey looks like it's permanently in a state of shock. The males of this species have enormous noses that can grow up to 7 inches long. While their noses might look ridiculous to us, they serve an important role in attracting mates. Apparently, the bigger the nose, the more attractive the monkey. These monkeys are also great swimmers, using their webbed feet to paddle through the rivers of Borneo, sometimes even swimming underwater. So while their noses get all the attention, their swimming skills are pretty impressive too. The Goblin Shark is straight up nightmare fuel. With its long, flat snout and jaws that can extend out of its mouth to catch prey, this deep sea shark looks like something out of a horror movie. But don't worry, it lives way down in the ocean, far away from where humans usually go. Goblin sharks are rare and we don't know much about them, but their strange appearance has earned them the nickname living fossils. They've been around for millions of years, lurking in the deep, dark ocean. The Indian purple frog looks like it's been squished from all sides. With its bloated body and tiny head, this frog spends almost its entire life underground, only coming up for a few days each year during the monsoon season to breed. It's not the most attractive frog in the world, but it's perfectly adapted to its underground lifestyle, using its specialized body to burrow and feast on ants and termites. The giant isopod is like a massive underwater pill bug, except this guy can grow up to 2.5 feet long. Living in the deep sea, it's part of the scavenger crew, feeding on whatever dead animals it finds on the ocean floor. With its tough, armored body, the giant isopod can survive in the extreme pressures of the deep ocean. It's a real-life tank, slowly trundling along the seabed, munching on whatever it can find. Our final strange animal is the lowland streaked tenrec, a tiny mammal that's as punk rock as they come. It has bright yellow stripes running down its back and quills it uses to communicate by rubbing them together to make sounds, a process called stridulation. This ability is more common in insects like crickets, but for a mammal to make noise with its quills, that's pretty rock and roll. The lowland streaked tenrec also uses those sharp quills as a defense, stabbing predators that get too close. And there you have it. 25 of the strangest, most fascinating animals that still walk, crawl, swim, or fly on our planet today. If you enjoy the video, like and subscribe for more animal content like this.